Speaking to you from beautiful Philadelphia, I ask you, what is it that everyone wants? What do people want out of life? And first thing that most people think of is happiness, and immediately most people discount that. Well, yes and no. Most people want to improve their circumstances. They want a better life. They want to enhance their life. They want to improve the quality of their life. And the human condition is about every individual is really tiny compared to the circumstances they find themselves in. Reality is a juggernaut. It's so huge and so much greater than each of us individuals that we each sort of fall into our own littler definition of what a quality of life is, what improving our circumstance is. For some people it can be money. They recognize that this reality for the social human is that they can improve their life circumstances, their quality of life through mastering money making. And as another example, for the artist, it could be through the lifestyle of living as an artist and what that brings to their experience, to their mortal life experience. Before I get to my point, I'll just list off a couple of other models that people have for quality of life because it's fun. For some people, being in the right is their model for quality of life. For some, it's all about making their life more comfortable, the way that they can, if the water's too hot, they need to find a way to cool it down. If whatever they can do to make their trip through this world as painless as possible. As a side note, it's really fun. You can basically, anyone you know, you can kind of map out what their quality of life pursuit is. And an example, I know someone who she went to go see as many music events as she possibly could. And for her, that is her quality of life pursuit. The fiction writer and all artists, it's good to realize that there are many side benefits to creating art. There are different kinds of art, and for fiction writers, for writers, for illustrators, for artists who their artwork involves creating fictional realities, creating mini realities, playing off the reality where we find ourselves in, and being creative and creating our own little virtual realities. And if most every human is trying to improve their circumstance, to enhance their life, to improve the quality of their life, if that is the core drive, us artists, if we can appreciate that not only getting inspired and getting in the zone is that state of living that we want to achieve as often as possible, there are many side benefits to practicing art, and that helps us. It rounds out our quality of life pursuit. Getting to my point, one thing I noticed happening is that when I've had a great writing and novel illustrating session, and then afterwards I walk somewhere to get something to eat, something would happen. The world I walked into was amazingly different than the one I walked through that morning. It was beautiful. It was delightful. It was interesting. The faces I saw were full. I could see expression. I could understand more what was happening with people and the events that were happening on my walk were interesting and funny and sad and so real. I felt for what was happening in the world around me. Basically, a side effect of my doing art made me see the world as a beautiful place. The effect was not that strong, but after I noticed it, it encouraged that effect and made it stronger. And that was added motivation for my making art. That gave me more free energy for making art and more art making ability. All I did was appreciate that after an artistic session, I saw the world as a little bit more beautiful. I saw the world less in a selfish and defensive and mode, and more in one where I could empathize, where I was looking at the world purely for its entertainment value and for the stories that are generated there and why and for its value in itself, not for my personal relationship with it, but as if I were invisible and I were just watching it for its own, just for the amazing fact that it exists at all and what goes on there. And simply by appreciating that effect, which the first time I noticed it was not that strong, every time that I just appreciated it and noticed it, the effect becomes stronger, and it helps both my artwork, and also it's a blast. It is a great, one of my favorite things to do is when I'm done in my little bubble, in my space station of being the isolated artist, is to go ahead and dive back into the world and appreciate the fact that I'm seeing it with eyes that recently have been very much conditioned to see the world for its value, not for what it can do for me or what it could do to me. And looking into it a little bit, it makes perfect sense. When you're fiction writing, basically what you're doing is you're conditioning yourself to look at a world. It may not be, it may kind of go back and forth between the real world and a fictional world, but you're looking at a world purely for its value, not for how it can serve you and possibly harm you and all of that. So when you're seeing that, it's very powerful to see a world and the world in that way. It gives you an opportunity to experience life for what it really is and get outside of yourself and get past all those things that block you from having a pure experience. The human condition is all about the sad reality of the human condition. And the truth is that most people, most of the time, are lost in themselves. Most of the time, they're totally obsessed with their own concerns that damper and cause them to lose focus on what is outside of their own personal, internalized experience. But there's still an amazing reality outside of each of us, just waiting to be experienced. Unintentionally, as a story creator, as a fiction writer, I went into the safety of my own little art cave and conditioned myself to look at a world. It is and was a fictional world, for its own value, and to appreciate it and to get the richness, the pleasure, the enjoyment, the entertainment of looking at a world in that way. And then it formed habits of seeing that when I right after, when I went out into the world, before I became concerned that I better hurry up and cross the street before that bus runs me over, I was having these pure experiences that seriously are just, they are some of the most amazing experiences of my life. And the great thing about it is that when you get older, to have experiences like that are even more precious, because as we get older, we start to see things in the same way, and our experience becomes dampened. We don't experience things as fully because they aren't brand new to us, and we don't pay as much attention to them, and they don't have as much, we just don't experience them as strongly. But through practicing fiction writing, you can get back to the pure experience. While actively writing fiction, that creates a vacuum. I need more. I need more material to work with creatively, so that the next time I go out in the world, I'm noticing more. I'm looking for more because I'm on a search. I need more material to work with. And through the course of time, us fiction writers notice more. We see more. We remember more. Our memories are stronger. We can remember people. We can remember people who have forgotten who we are because we remember the conversations we had with them. We might have actually written those conversations down. This is a good example of a win-win situation that you can set up for yourself. As you increasingly learn to see the world in this way, you are seeing the world exactly in the way that's going to most inform your art, that will most improve your art, that will most give you the things, the material, the fodder for creativity that you can use. This is the straw that you can weave into gold. It's a cycle where one improves and increases and energizes the other. Seeing the world in this way is going to energize your art, and working on your art is going to give you the ability to see the world in this way. And if you're pretty new to this, if you want to kind of jumpstart this experience and get a stronger sense of how wonderful this experience can be, try this exercise. If you try it not just once, but try it a few times each week. When you're out in the world, when you're going to that party, walking your dog, going on a bike ride, returning that book to the library that you haven't returned yet, pretend on that outing, pretend that it is, and I'm not being negative here, pretend that it's your last day alive. Pretend that silently you're going to see the world for the last time, and you're seeing it, your last chance to see it. And it's not negative. It's one of those things where it helps us get in contact with the preciousness of life. So if you appreciate my videos and would like to return the favor, please hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, tell a friend, and also please take the time to go check out my episodic story, Terrible Immunity, at solomation.com. It's a very strange alternative fiction story, and I hope that all your artistic and life endeavors go great, and I hope you have a good day.